Hollywood executives tried to steal this guy's idea. This is the legendary story of how one tiny action saved an animator's career. So this guy is Brad Bird. He's the dude that directed this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Do you remember The Iron Giant? It was his first movie, and the story of how he got the gig is pretty crazy. Back in the day, Warner Brothers called him in to present his version of The Iron Giant, and Brad absolutely shocked all the executives. You see, The Iron Giant is based on a book, but Bird poured his soul into creating a new version of the characters and story. And when he revealed his idea, it was so different that everyone was stunned, but he continued his story anyway. Halfway through, Brad saw the assistants taking notes, and he knew he was slowly winning everyone over. Now, the entire room was excited, but this is where things get interesting. So the studio loved his idea and made a deal with him to make the movie. It wasn't until later that Bird discovered the studio had gone behind his back and paid 2 other writers to make scripts based on the notes the assistants took in the meeting. They even wanted to give one of those writers credit on the movie. It's crazy. If you look at the credits now, Brad's the only writer. So what happened?
One of them almost got screen credit, but I was smart enough to write it down and register it with the Writers Guild before I gave the pitch.
Big studios pay these animators to make terrible animation. So I found the funniest part of making any animated movie. Here's some rare footage of 3 iconic movie moments before they were done, and it's way too funny not to share. Okay, so CGI technology has advanced so much that movies look more believable than ever. Studios like Pixar, Disney, and DreamWorks make animated movies that look amazing, with great animation, beautiful colors, and dynamic lighting. Since we are so used to seeing the final product, it's always hilarious to see the first step of the process. So before a scene can look like this, it looks like this. Studios hire people called layout artists who make super simple animation to help production teams visualize the movie before the actual animators start working. Now, their work is rough, but also hilarious. Remember You're Welcome from Moana? In layout form, it looked like this. When fully animated, Sully's intense dramatic stare looked like this. But before, it was this. Remember this from The Incredibles 2? This is the layout version. Their work looks funny compared to the final, but layout artists are an important part of the filmmaking process. Disney Animation Studios says, working from storyboards, layout artists use a film's characters, sets, props, and cameras to stage, block, and shoot the film, shot by shot. Cinematography, staging, and rough character animation are key elements to a layout artist's skill set. Additionally, layout involves a bit of animation, lighting, editing, modeling, and a lot of composition and good use of camera for a clear narrative, making it a very creative endeavor. There are tons of different jobs in animation that aren't actually animators. You can Google animation production pipelines to explore more roles on an animated production. This Bob's Burgers animator really gets into character. He runs into trees, falls off couches, and freaks out in a Santa hat, all in the name of creating great art. So this is Aaron Humiston, a total beast who works as a 2D animator. When he's working on a scene, he will film himself acting out the action and copy that footage to make his animation even better. This turns into this, and this turns into this. A lot of work goes into making even the smallest animated moments, and Humiston shares the dedication he has to the craft. All of his animation is super cool. A lot of people don't know that there are some jobs for animators in America working on TV shows. Animating for a show like Bob's Burgers is really competitive, so I can totally see why he has the job. Disney animators are super lazy. They're just really good at hiding it. Here's one example from this iconic movie. You'll never see this scene the same way again. So Disney animators are the best in the world. They've created amazing characters and stories for over 100 years. Disney is so good that they make drawing an entire movie look easy, but it's actually not. Animating is hard, but certain things are really hard. Things like characters walking or big crowds are really hard to do. So when it came time to animate an entire village mob in Beauty and the Beast, the animators struggled. How were they going to do it? Well, they didn't. They're lazy, remember? They focused on the important scenes like this or this, then they got creative to finish the mob scene cheaply. The director explained how they cut corners.
One of the big ending numbers of Beauty and the Beast, you got like a whole village of people tromping up the mountain to go kill the beast. Anything to avoid having to animate 20 characters marching across a background on one. We cut to hands holding swords, we cut to shadows on the wall.
We almost got a Crash Bandicoot cartoon. Someone leaked the behind-the-scenes footage, and it looks truly insane. So why was it canceled? Well, let's go back. You remember Crash Bandicoot, right? He had a bunch of super popular video games in the 90s and recently made quite the comeback. Apparently, a few years ago, Amazon and Activision were working on an animated series. The leaked footage and pitch doc prove it would have been awesome, so here's what the leaks reveal. The series would follow Crash as he tries to stop Dr. Cortex's evil schemes. The show was going to be 2D animated and super cartoony. 2 different animation tests were revealed. They are slightly different, but they both give major Looney Tunes vibes. It looks great, so why was it canceled? We don't have a concrete answer, but some fans speculated that the show's inappropriate jokes got it canceled. I can't believe we almost got a Crash Bandicoot cartoon. AI won't be replacing artists anytime soon, at least according to Pixar. If you're an animator who's worried about AI taking your job, you can relax because AI definitely won't be replacing artists. So this is Jim Morris, the current president of Pixar. The dude's 85 and he's been in the entertainment industry for decades. He got his start at ILM, working on visual effects for some of the most groundbreaking movies of all time. I'm talking Jurassic Park, Terminator, Forrest Gump. Then he joined Pixar in 2005 to help produce WALL-E. Clearly he's worked on some amazing stuff in the industry and has always been on the cutting edge of technology. So this is what he had to say about AI replacing artists.
I know people think AI will replace everything. I'm skeptical about that. I think we're going to continue to need artists and technicians and storytellers to.
This Gumball animator just made the coolest animatic and you need to see it. Her name is Eva Figueroa, the same artist that became world famous for being one of the lead animators on Gumball. Her work on the show is super awesome. Just check out her reel. I mean, come on, look at this. Once Gumball sadly came to an end, she switched over to being a storyboard artist working on a bunch of other different shows. And in her free time, she made this amazing animatic. She posted it on Instagram and got thousands of views. It's about a cop falling in love with a robber, so it's a simple story, but the way she did it is pure genius. As you can see, the drawings are great. And also, it's super funny. You can definitely see some of that Gumball humor in there. It's got some action with a huge runaway car chase, and even a little dance fight. If you love Gumball, you're definitely gonna love this, so you have to check it out. The sequence has a great soundtrack, which I can't play here on YouTube, but I definitely recommend going over to her Instagram to see it. But before you go, I actually asked her about this animatic, and here's what she had to say.
Do you just do this because it's fun, or do you think it's helpful to keep your skills up?
Both, because I had a couple of weeks between jobs and I was listening to music one day while walking back home, and it was like, I had an idea. Like, I had the idea for the animatic I did, and I want to do this. It's funny. It's funny. I've been doing this ever since I was a kid, a teenager, imagining things to music. I'm sure a lot of people do it. And it only struck me as I was walking, like, I'm a storyboard artist. I can just do it now. I don't have to dream about this anymore. So I both wanted to do it, but I had also been wanting to do something for my own portfolio. You know how it is with TV shows where you can't really show a lot of what you do because maybe the show hasn't aired yet, or maybe you're not allowed, or maybe it was for a pitch that never made it, so you can never ever show it. And I was like, I want to do something that's my own thing and just be able to show it without asking anybody. So both, I think it's good for me, and I really wanted to do it. And I do a first pass. First, I do a very, very rough pass in blue to remind myself, like, this is not the definitive product. This is just a very rough approximation. And then I tried to get that done as fast as possible, just to be able to show it to Juanpe. And then, to get the feedback, like, do you get what's going on? Is it readable? Do you have any feedback? And yeah, once that was done, I just, scene by scene, like, clean it up, make it clearer, add some jokes.
The camera work and the shots, it was funny, like, even watching with the sound off, it's like, it's just hilarious. You get the story, and that always, on that animatic, you made it look easy.
Oh, that's so kind. It wasn't.
Welcome to Animation Hustle, where you can get your daily dose of animation inspiration. Like, comment, and subscribe, and check out the description for links.